Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Happy Monday, everyone. Sports Hounds live with you until 10 o'clock, live in Mount Ephraim, the Real Talk Studios. Brad Ryer, Frank Vesby producing, as usual. I'm beyond disgusted with this team. I was mad after the Tampa game. I was mad after the Minnesota game. Now I'm just numb to it. This is an average football team in Philadelphia. We'll jump right into it. Scanzano Sports. Poll question of the night. As always, Sports Hounds brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, certified accountants. Visit GibsonMayer.com. And I knew we're off the bat with just Scanzano Sports poll question is, what is the Eagles' final record going to be? We have 6-10, 8-8, or 10-6, or other. I'm at 8-8. This team just doesn't do anything that great. They just don't. I mean,
they still seem to be in their Super Bowl haze. That's the problem. I mean, a lot of teams go through this after they win the Super Bowl. For whatever reason, they have this Super Bowl hangover and they just don't show up for a lot of games. Or the problem with the Eagles is they don't play 60 minutes of football. This has been This has been an ongoing theme for them, especially in their losses, is that they don't play for 60 minutes. They'll give you a half or 3/4 of brilliant football, and then they take a quarter off or a half off, and they completely let the games get out of hand. I mean, the Tampa game, they started off horribly. They got themselves behind. They came back, but they basically ran out of time. You know, I mean, yesterday was just unbelievable. I mean, the defense. I mean, they were going and celebrating after the third quarter. I mean, it's like, they don't come out and play. They don't come out and play with the same aggression in the fourth quarter. The Tennessee game again. That three quarters, they're completely outplaying Tennessee, and then they let the game get away. I mean, this seems to be an ongoing theme with them.
And we got people killing the defense already on the Facebook chat. I don't understand how you cannot let this offense off the hook, scoring 17 points yesterday at home. That's not enough. You can't win in 2018 scoring 17 points. You can't do it.
No, you're not wrong about that.
You can't do it.
If they would have added to the lead.
The defense is like 10th or 11th, depending on what metric you want to look at.
But bottom line is
the offense is 23rd. I mean,
if they would have scored,
I don't get it.
Rob,
I don't get it.
They missed a field goal on that one drive in the first quarter. But I mean, if they're able to just play add-on football during the game, this game would have been put away. It wouldn't have mattered about those 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But the fact that the offense just they couldn't come up with the big play. I mean, for whatever reason, this team is not offensively making big plays in the fourth quarter. And
Mike Royal, offense was on the field the entire third quarter. They dominated time of possession. What more do you want them to do? I want them to score points.
Well, yeah, you got
17 points. I don't care what they did in time of possession.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means nothing. All that matters is the scoreboard. 17 points at home when you have a franchise quarterback. It is a complete and utter joke. I don't understand how this offense just gets a pass for yesterday. They were so bad. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch this offense right now. 30 for 37 from Carson Wentz, 310 yards. 2 receivers with 90 yards. And it goes to 17 points. Why can't this team score points? And the fact that this team can't be one of the reasons they can't score points is because they don't have a balanced attack. Everyone wants them to run the ball more. What do you want to do? Run Wendell Smallwood 20 times into Jason Kelsey's ass? What do you want him to do? Wendell Smallwood stinks. Corey Clement, I've said it once. I'll say it again. He's overrated by the fan base. And Josh Adams is what he is. He's an undrafted rookie. Looks like he can, maybe be a short yardage, kind of a bowling ball back.
They need to do something as far as making a move to try to get somebody in here who can run the ball. But I mean, I keep hearing Le'Veon Bell's name mentioned. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is the guy you want to get.
Why?
Well, first of all, he hasn't played all year. I don't know what kind of
That's
shape
fine.
he's
I'm signing him to a 3 or 4 year contract, and I'm having him for the next 4 years.
I don't know what kind of shape he's in right now, but as far as trying to save the season.
It helps you now, but it helps you more in the upcoming seasons.
Yeah, but
he's the best back in the league. All due respect to Todd Gurley.
I agree.
When Le'Veon Bell is in shape and clicking and actually playing football, he's better than Todd Gurley.
I agree with you.
You can get him at a discount because the Steelers have no leverage.
But if you go out and you get him, first of all, what are they going to want for him? And secondly, is he going to sign a contract or is he going to walk after the end of the year? So I mean there's a lot of complicated issues going on with him, but there are other teams.
How many draft picks? But everyone's scared to sell the farm for these good players out there. Well, guess what? You got to give to get. None of these teams are just going to give away their good players just because the Eagles are defending Super Bowl champions and just can't seem to figure it out. Why do you need 11 draft picks next April or May or whenever the hell they do the draft these days?
I wouldn't give up my first-round pick, though. First-round picks are too valuable. You can't do that.
I don't get it. And Mike Rowe, Patrick Peterson helps the defense now. Yeah, it does, but you got to get some balance on this offense. You got to figure out how to score more than 17 points at home. You're not going to win any game scoring 17 points.
Patrick Peterson's also going to cost you a first-round pick.
That's fine. I don't care about that. He's a first-round pick
plus.
player. He's 28. He's a first-round pick player.
No, he's a phenomenal player.
I would give up a first-round pick for Le'Veon Bell as well. Why can't you make 2 trades?
Why not? If while you're at it, instead of that, why don't you go get the running back over there in Arizona?
David Johnson?
Yeah.
Anything.
I think honestly, I think you'd be better off getting him because at least he's playing, he's in shape. You bring him in here, I think that guy would make a bigger difference.
I don't understand Eagles fans who watched yesterday's game and want to tell me that cornerback is a bigger concern than running back. Your leading rusher had 32 yards rushing yesterday. It was Wendell Smallwood.
And it's not because
he ran the ball 9 times.
It's not because your offensive line isn't good.
No, it's because Wendell Smallwood's not good. Corey Clement is overvalued by the fan base, and Josh Adams kind of is what he is. Sproles is hurt. I'm starting to doubt whether Sproles will ever play again. I mean, where is he? I don't hear any news about him ever.
You're not wrong about that.
And then I see LeGarrette Blount have 10 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown yesterday in Detroit.
Well, you and I both discussed that. I mean, LeGarrette Blount, I think they really, really miss him.
All right, let's get to the Facebook comments. The Chromo 9-6. I assume he means 10-6.
Yeah, probably.
Ray Marziani, y'all got a lot of balls, putting 11-5 up there. I mean, I don't think they're going 11-5. Is this team going to go whatever and 1 the rest of the way?
No,
Absolutely not.
I think they're going to go 9-7.
This team can't score 21 points. They struggle week to week to score 21 points. This is not 2001 or 1995. You need to score points. You see how they call the games these days? It's glorified flag football.
Everybody here on YouTube is killing their defense, their prevent defense, and everything else. I mean, again, you're not wrong about that, but guys, if they would have scored a
how about sustain a drive?
Yeah.
Well, how about don't give the Panthers the ball back?
How about have a drive?
It's impossible to keep a player like Cam Newton down for 60 minutes. It's impossible. A dual threat quarterback like that who's having a pretty good season, the rules just don't allow you to stop him for 60 minutes, or any good quarterback for that matter.
No, at some point
any decent quarterback puts up 300 yards and scores at least 24 points.
I think the most frustrating part as far as the Eagles are concerned yesterday was the fact that on the first play in that last drive, Wentz throws the bomb to Jeffrey, and they get the pass interference call. So they're already down there. It's not like they have to work the ball down the field.
And then Wentz on 2 straight plays, he overthrew Goddard in the seam by about a foot almost got the ball picked, but the guy trapped it on the ground, so it didn't count. Then it's 3rd and 2. He's got Wendell Smallwood with no one around him in the flat. He'd walk in for a touchdown. He decides to throw the ball in the double coverage. Puzzling.
Yeah, Carson.
And I don't want to hear about 30 for 37 from Carson Wentz. The way they throw the ball, 7 incompletions is too many. All they do is dink and dunk.
Yeah, well, that's been my complaint. That's been my complaint about the Giants this year with the dinking and dunking. I hate that. I mean, I think you need to throw the ball
They
down
don't
the
take
field.
shots down the field. The one critical thing I will say about the defense is they don't force turnovers anymore. It's very difficult to win in the league if you don't force any turnovers. But they got pressure on Cam. Christian McCaffrey was a non-factor. For the most part, Cam Newton didn't have his best day.
Look, for 3 quarters, they really didn't do anything. I mean, the Eagles defense had their way, and then, they did back off for sure.
Tom Casper thinks the team's going 11-5. God bless you, Tom. I just don't see how you can say that about this team.
Yeah, I like 9-7, Rob. I think right now, with their 3-4, I see them losing in New Orleans. I see them losing in Los Angeles. And the 4 games against the Cowboys and Redskins, best case scenario.
Redskins are
3-1.
good.
I know, but probably 3-1 in those 4 games. Best case scenario. So that would give you 9-7. I think that's probably 9-7 is probably a realistic number for them at this point. Now is 9-7 going to be good enough to win the division? Maybe. I mean that is possible. The Redskins are a very inconsistent football team, but I'll tell you what. Yesterday, I thought their defense looked terrific in the Dallas game. I mean, they were getting pressure on Dak the whole game. I mean, he took some explosive hits. That one in the end zone, which was classic, when he fumbled.
Dak.
That
Classic
was
Dallas.
Dak. That was a thing of beauty, which really kind of put the game away. Washington looked terrific. Adrian Peterson, I mean,
looks phenomenal.
What is going on with Adrian Peterson? Where did this come from? I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Adrian Peterson would be back to looking like his old self again, then I could believe what's going on with the Washington Redskins. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, Adrian Peterson had 99 yards yesterday, and the Dallas defense is tough to run against. Don't kid yourself.
It is.
The Dallas defense is good. They have a good defense. Their offense is another story, but their defense is good. But their offensive line has really, really gone the other way, the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, they fell apart. They don't have Frederick. Zach Martin's out.
Yeah, and the guys they have replacing him just aren't good.
Lyle Collins can't play tackle. He got to play guard.
Yeah, I mean.
They're far from the.
I mean, Dak was under siege yesterday. He really was, and
Mike Royal.
Zeke did nothing yesterday.
Yeah, he had like 30 yards on 15 at 2.2 average.
Yeah,
They're not going to win any games if he's going to have 2.2 yards per carry.
The only decent play he had was when they hit him on a screen pass, and he got like 20 yards on a screen pass. But other than that, they bottled him up too. I mean, really, the Cowboys for the most part really did next to nothing yesterday offensively, except their second to last. Kind of
like the Eagles. The Eagles didn't do anything offensively.
Yeah.
I'm sick of everyone whipping Jim Schwartz. I'm sick of everyone whipping Jalen Mills. This offense is like watching paint dry. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch the Eagles' offense right now. I think it's that bad. They have no balance. They have 17 points, and these guys they expect to win. It's not good. They might not even get to 8 wins.
Yeah, I think they'll get to 8 wins. I mean, they've got a lot of games they should win.
Deion Brown, it's a damn joke. Only ran the ball one time with the lead in the fourth quarter. Shaking my head. We need a running back ASAP. I said at the top of the show. I'll say it again right now. I would be talking to whoever is the general manager of the Steelers nonstop this week until he gives me Le'Veon Bell.
Or if not him, David Johnson from the Cardinals, because I think that's a guy that could definitely be had. Because the Cardinals are going nowhere. To have a running back like him on the team at this point is, he's going to get all beat up before they can turn it around.
You got to get some balance. Maybe that'll help. I just don't understand why this team can't score points. I don't get it. I thought the line blocked well enough yesterday.
I'll tell you what, the line was pretty good, but on that last drive, I thought Carolina, after the pass interference penalty, I thought Carolina got a lot of pressure on them.
Well, yeah, they had momentum in their favor.
Yeah, I thought they had a lot of pressure on.
And honestly, it was a smart pass interference penalty because the game would have been over right there because Jeffrey was wide open.
Touchdown. That was a touchdown. I mean, they did what they had to do to stop that.
Patrick Peterson helps the defense now. Yeah, Mike, let's make 2 trades. There's no rules against making 2 trades.
Why not make the same trade for 2 players on the Arizona Cardinals?
You give me Patrick Peterson and David Johnson, you could have my first, second, and third round pick.
They might do something like that.
I would do that in 5 seconds.
That would be an outstanding move because I think that's where you're getting that's what you're going to get, and then you're getting a guy who's been playing all season. I just don't know that Le'Veon Bell is going to come in. I don't know that he's in shape right now. I don't know how helpful he's going to be this season. It may take him a couple of games to get into shape, and by the time he's
I don't care if he's 350 pounds. He's better than Wendell Smallwood in whatever shape he's in right now.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather have a guy who's been playing every week, who you know is a real good player?
Yeah, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, that's fine. I need a running back. And then I see Carlos Hyde get traded to the Jaguars for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
Where are we on that one? I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Well, because the Browns have a young running back who they feel can step in now and do the job.
Yeah, but why can't Howie make that trade?
Yeah, that was a good trade.
You wouldn't give me a 5th-round pick for Carlos Hyde?
I like Carlos Hyde. I've always liked
Deion
him.
Brown thinks they need a deep threat. I agree with you on that. Running game and a deep threat trade for T.Y. Hilton.
Well, what about a guy? Let me ask you a question. I know you may not like this guy. But what about a guy like Isaiah Crowell on the Jets? You think he'd help him? I mean, he's got some ability. I mean, it doesn't have to be a great back.
I want to start Frank at running back against the Jaguars in London.
It needs to be a decent, capable back that can catch some passes and
Crowell, fine. I'm in.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be him.
I understand.
Yeah, you understand my point.
Yes,
though.
It's not going to take that great of a talent to upgrade the running back room in Philadelphia. These guys stink.
Player. Yeah, a reasonably
Corey
good.
Clement's overrated. Wendell Smallwood's not that good. And Josh Adams is what he is. He's an undrafted free agent. He's a power back. He's not someone I can count on.
No.
Mike Grill, Cowboys went out and got Amari Cooper. Now they're going to Burn Mills and Darby. Well, Mike, I got news for you. Amari Cooper stinks. I can't believe that the Cowboys gave up
a first rounder
for him.
Cooper? Are they serious?
He's not a game-changing. He's not a game-changing talent worth a first-round pick.
Le'Veon
Bell, David Johnson, Patrick Peterson, those guys are game-changers. I would easily give up a first-round pick for any of them. Not Amari Cooper.
No.
I have better hands than Amari Cooper. But I give Dallas credit.
And
I do give Dallas credit for recognizing that they have a serious flaw at wide receiver. And if they want Dak Prescott to succeed, they had to do something.
Oh, listen.
At least they're making moves.
They're trying.
Howie's sitting on his hands watching our season go down the tubes with Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement as your running backs. It's a joke.
I think they overpaid for him, though. I really do. I mean, listen, I like Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper tends to disappear in these games. I mean, how many times have you seen him catch 2 or 3 passes in the first quarter and look great, and all of a sudden, second and third quarter, you don't even know he's there? Like, where does he go?
All the time. It's been his whole career.
Yeah,
what was he, like the 5th pick in the draft when he came out?
I mean, he just disappears, and I don't know. He wouldn't have been I wouldn't be giving up a first-round pick for him. But, I guess the Cowboys felt that he's a difference maker, and we'll see. I don't think he's going to –
As much as I was just critical of him, he's by far the best receiver on the Cowboys now.
Oh, yeah, and listen, you put him and Cole Beasley Cole Beasley now is basically where he belongs as the number 2 receiver on the team. I just don't know that Cooper has never really carried the Raiders that much. I mean, I don't know. I think they overpay. But getting back to the Eagles with a running back, I mean, as I said, it doesn't have to be a great running back. It could be a guy like Isaiah Crowell on the Jets, somebody like that. You don't have to get you just have to get a good running back. The Eagles have a good offensive line. They can spring holes. Anybody who's pretty decent can do a good job for them. So I mean, if you look around the league, there are guys out there who you can get. Howie Roseman's smart enough to find somebody if he so desires, if he's willing to give up something. I mean, if it's a fourth or a fifth round pick, he can get himself a decent running back. There's no reason why he can't.
I agree.
You don't think somebody on Denver? You don't think one of those Denver running backs wouldn't look good in
anybody?
Well,
I
not
cannot
anybody,
watch Wendell Smallwood be the featured back anymore.
Would you agree that the Denver Broncos are going nowhere this year? At this point,
what's their record now?
What are they? 3-4.
That's what the Eagles are.
Yeah, but they're 3-4. They really look bad. I mean, they slaughtered the Cardinals, but big deal. I mean, they got smoked by the Jets, for crying out loud. They gave up. Who else just? They gave up.
No, I don't.
300 yards rushing 2 weeks in a row. I mean, that's not a playoff team. No way. No way is that team.
Well, I picked Denver to make the playoffs, so I would.
I mean, I'm just putting it out there. I mean, maybe some of these other teams that don't look the part.
Kyle Meager, Wentz could have been the hero, but he blew it.
What about a guy like Frank Gore? He's another one. Maybe the Eagles take a flyer on Frank Gore. How much would you have to pay to get him?
Where did Kyle's thing go? Because it was a good comment.
A sixth round pick for him. He's on the Dolphins now, right?
Yeah. He's actually running pretty good.
I know he is. That's why I'm saying he wouldn't be
That's something to consider.
What, a sixth round pick maybe?
Kyle comments.
5 or a 6?
Wentz could have been the hero, but he blew it. That honestly pissed me off the most. That pissed me off too because he missed Wendell Smallwood on 3rd and 2. He could have walked in the end zone, and the play before he overthrew Dallas Goedert on a seam route by at least a foot, and it almost got intercepted. They were fortunate that they determined Eric Reed trapped the ball.
That was a fortunate call because they could have easily not changed that call, even though it looked like he trapped the ball. But
if they called that an interception and a catch, then I don't know what the rules are at all.
Rob, all I'm saying is I've seen these NFL.
I understand.
Referees
I know.
Screw up these calls enough. I mean,
they got a second chance on the goal line.
It could have gone. It could have easily.
You're not going to win any game. The bottom line is you're not going to win games in today's NFL scoring 17 points. It's just not going to happen. This team's going to go 8-8 this year. Someone said they're going to go 12-4. That means they're not going to lose another game. Carl Veach Sr., 12-4. That means they're going to lose no more games the rest of the year.
Two-gun Tommy wants Foles. You want Foles back?
Okay, that's just no. He needs to have his head examined. I mean, Carson Wentz is so much better than Nick Foles. It's just not even funny.
Hector says he likes Wentz, doesn't have weapons. I mean, they got receivers for sure.
That's not true. That's not true either. Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey's been playing like a madman since he came back from injury.
The receivers are fine. The receivers.
They have no balance and they don't take shots down the field. Look at what happened. The one shot they took down the field late in the game, they got a pass interference penalty, and they almost won the game.
Yeah, and
they don't take shots down the field.
And let's be honest, okay? Yesterday, nobody could guard Jeffrey.
No.
They could not. I'll be honest with you.
No one's guarded Jeffrey since he came back from injury.
The more I've seen Jeffrey
this
year, nobody can guard him. I mean,
no one's done it yet.
The Giants sure as hell. Janoris Jenkins, who's one of the better corners in the league, couldn't guard him. I mean, he's a beast, that guy. But again, now this is going to get to my point with when they play the Redskins. Okay, the Redskins do have a lockdown cornerback.
Yes, they have Josh Norman.
Right. So
very good player.
He's the kind of guy that could lock down Alshon Jeffrey. The Eagles are going to have to figure out a way, if they want to get back into this hunt, they're going to have to figure out a way to beat the Washington Redskins. And I'll tell you what, the way the Redskins played defensively yesterday against the Cowboys, they're going to have their hands full.
Oh, the Redskins are the clear favorites in the NL East.
Yeah, they're looking like a pretty good football team.
Clear favorites. I mean, they're balanced. Alex Smith is good enough. Their defense played well yesterday.
The receivers aren't great, but I mean, Josh Doxson and Reed, they catch enough balls to be effective. I mean, and if Adrian Peterson is gonna run like he's 23 years old again, I mean, that team is going to be dangerous. That team could score from anywhere in the field. I mean, as much as I'm not crazy about Alex Smith, you know what? Alex Smith can just be a game manager with the players he has. because they've got a pretty good offense. Yeah, but the Cowboys, you just got to wonder. I mean, as good as their defense is, they on the road, they just find different ways to lose every week.
The Eagles and the Cowboys have the same record. Everyone wants to say how much the Cowboys stink, and I do think they stink.
Well, the Cowboys.
Because I don't think Dak Prescott's that good.
But the Cowboys.
They're 3-4. The Eagles are 3-4.
But
let's let that sink in.
The Cowboys are 0-4 on the road, and they're 3-0 at home. So it's two completely different stories.
And the Eagles are what, 1-3 in the conference, having no tiebreakers. They beat Atlanta for a win. They lost to Tampa.
They beat the Giants.
Beat the Giants.
So they got 2 wins in the conference, and they got 1
big tie-breaking losses to Carolina and Minnesota.
Well, they're going to have to win the division. I think in that division, you're going to have to be a division winner to make the playoffs. I don't think the wild card is coming from that division.
Sean Hicks thinks 8-8. Jeff Perkins 6-10. Roseman won't pull the trigger on a running back fast enough. Jim Schwartz's defensive schemes are absolute garbage with the solid use of the poop emoji there. Secondary is mediocre, and Doug lost his entourage. Basically, were his playbook and brain. Sure, I want a quick turnaround, but with the issues with injuries, okay, there was a lot there. I 100% agree with you that Doug is missing DiFilippo and Frank Reich, because this guy Mike Groh, I don't know what he's doing all week to help this team, but whatever he's doing isn't translating to success on the field Sundays, because like I said, you're not going to win any game scoring 17 points in today's NFL. And I'd rather watch paint dry than watch this offense. You've an overrated Corey Clement, who the fan base just fell in love with way too fast. The guy's an average player. Wendell Smallwood and Josh Adams are they're just not good. Look at the running backs on these good teams.
They're not good enough. That's the whole thing. Bob says Wentz should have rolled out on 4th down and not get stuck in the pocket. I mean, I kind of agree with that
fine.
too.
He should have threw the ball to Wendell Smallwood when he was wide open on 3rd and 2 and got a touchdown.
He missed that. I mean, I don't. What I
How
don't
do you?
understand.
But
the screen pass was working.
You have
real
to
well
try
for
to miss that. You have to try and miss a guy that open. I feel like, for a franchise quarterback to miss a guy that's that wide open, I just don't understand it. I don't get it at all. I don't get it.
No, I don't either.
Package the card if they don't pull the trigger. No better than 9-7.
Yeah, I think 9-7. I mean, I said it before. I think 9-7 is about right.
Mancini have to sweep the Skins. 10-6, win division, get the tournament, and see what happens. I mean, 10-6. That's 7-2.
What makes you think that the
that's
Eagles
7-2
to win games on the road in the playoffs?
They can't even score 3 touchdowns in a game. They struggle to score 3 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking them to.
You watch the Chiefs and the Rams and the Patriots play. It's boom, boom, boom. First 3 drives, 21 points.
And the Saints.
The Saints, too.
I mean, the Saints against a real tough Ravens defense, and they
24-23. How about Justin Tucker missing that extra point?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Very un-Tucker-like.
I heard it was a 40-mile-an-hour wind going from right to left. So I mean that God.
John Malholmes. We have 2 second-round picks. Yeah, the Eagles have 11 draft picks. You don't need 11 draft picks.
No, they need to make a smart move here. I mean there's no reason why they can't. I mean there are plenty of teams out there who they can go out and trade with who are definitely looking at next year and know that this year is not going to be the year.
Mike Parker, Bell is in shape. He needs to play well to close out the season to make any money next year.
I wouldn't count on that. I would want a guy who's playing right now, to be honest with you. If
I can't get David Johnson off Arizona, then I want Le'Veon Bell.
Okay, but I think you can get David Johnson off Arizona.
Then let's do something.
Arizona,
Dallas improved their team
Arizona
today. I thought Dallas gave up too much from Amari Cooper, but at least they're making moves to improve their football team.
Well, they're trying.
They have the same record as the Eagles.
They're trying. I give them that.
Can we let that sink in? Because I don't think Eagles fans realize that this team's 3-4, and you have the same record as the Dallas Cowboys, a team that everyone likes to make fun of as the worst, and they are the worst. I hate them.
Yeah, by the way, they have the same record as the Jets too, which is not saying very
The
much
Broncos are 3-4. The Jets are 3-4. It's such an average team. You just watch this team. Nothing pops out of the screen as good on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
There's
right.
some good, but there's nothing great.
Yeah, they need to go out and show their fans that they're planning to do something here. Let's see. Bob says that they didn't get Hyde because he signed for 3 years at $5 million per year. Okay, I mean that may be why.
At what point does it become about what can you do for me now? How can you help me? Because I don't care about money. It's not my money. I don't care about money.
Well, I don't know if it's the money as much as it is the the cap ramifications, and if you can fit
But
guys.
I don't
into the
understand.
cap.
Nick Foles and Jason Peters probably won't be on the team next year. That money will come off. I don't think Ronald Darby is worth a significant amount of money to start at cornerback. He's an okay player.
Jalen Mills is going to be gone next year.
I don't think so.
He's going to be a free agent, is he not? Isn't he a free agent next year?
It'll be his third year. It's his third year right now.
Oh, it is? Okay. I thought he was a free agent after this year. Maybe it's Darby that's going to be the free agent. One of those corners is going to be a free agent. In any event, I mean,
Mike Royal, why not go after Demaryius Thomas?
Yeah,
I don't like Demaryius Thomas for this offense. They need a burner. They need a Deshaun Jackson-like.
And we have Robert
player.
Mazzi saying that the Steelers have to trade Bell. Bob, I agree with you. I agree.
What are they
going to
do? Let
that.
him walk in free agents and get nothing? That's not smart.
They might have to do that, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he has to show up eventually. Forget Bell; he won't be a team.
David Long's 9-7. I want Patrick Peter. Doesn't matter how we need him ASAP. I mean, okay, let's go get him. Let's get on the phone and let's do something. I'm all for it.
I mean, they need to do that. I mean, listen, you could be talking to the Giants about some of their players. The Giants are probably willing to get rid of some guys too. I mean, I don't know who in the Giants would want.
Who on that team's going to help the Eagles besides Odell Beckham and Saquon Barkley?
Well, they're not going to trade those guys. So I mean,
or Landon Collins too. So
yeah.
I mean, the Giants kind of stink, Brad. The coverage a little bare there right now.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're probably right.
And I don't see the Giants and the Eagles.
No,
trading.
that's very true. That's very true.
Oh, the Eagles. Andy Reid did make a trade with the Cowboys once on draft day.
I mean, it could happen, but you're right. That's highly unlikely.
James Edgefield, coach and players execute. The execution of the plays need to be corrected. Too many self-inflicting penalties. And this is on top of the fact we have some key positions we need to shore up. Great point by James. A lot of good stuff there, James. I agree that I don't think Jim Schwartz called a bad game yesterday. I thought the plays he called, especially in the fourth quarter, were executed not good by the Eagles secondary. If you're playing a zone, Brad, and you know, you have your little area that you're covering, but there's a receiver sitting down in the zone, someone's got to clamp down on him. You know,
well,
someone's got to cover him.
They were backing up way too much yesterday. They basically in the fourth quarter they stopped playing aggressively. I mean, I don't understand why you would all of a sudden just stop being aggressive. I mean, that was crazy. And by then, you know, all of a sudden, by the last drive, now Cam has his rhythm, and now he's.
But this is what this team. This is what this team did in the playoff. They're a bend but don't break defense. They're fine with you moving the ball in between the 20s.
Yeah, but
they're fine.
They're letting you get in the end zone. I mean, they did the same
right.
thing.
They're not clamping down like they did.
I mean, look at the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans have only scored 107 points in 6 or 7 games or something like that. I mean, their offense is really futile.
They stink.
Yeah,
the Titans stink. I thought they were going to make a jump forward this year. I was totally wrong. They stink.
Me too. I mean, but they scored 14 points in the fourth quarter, or was it 10 against the Eagles? Was it 14 or 10? And then they scored the touchdown in overtime.
I mean,
it was
we get your point.
But the whole point, yeah.
Whether it was 14 or 10, your point is valid.
I mean, what is going on with the Eagles in the fourth quarter that they're defensively that they're not doing the job? I mean, the Tampa Bay game, The last 4 minutes of the game, they let Tampa Bay just basically kill the game. I mean, this can't continue to go on. They're going to be at a point where they're going to be so far behind Washington. They're not even those games may not mean anything if they don't start turning it around soon.
They're already 1.5 games behind them. I think the Eagles are going to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars in London on Sunday, but it's not a sure thing at all.
Guess who the Redskins play next week? The Giants. Do you really think the Giants are going to beat the Redskins? Because I don't. So that's going to be another win for the Eagles.
I think the Giants might win tonight.
I don't know. They moved the ball to the 40-yard line of Atlanta and then they punted, and they did pin them back at the 1-yard line. But I don't know what's.
They seem to play better on the road.
Yeah, well,
is that fair? Is that a fair statement?
Oh, that's a fair statement, and and of course the reason they play better on the road is because they're not constantly getting booed.
I think that hurts. I think that gets in the heads of softies like Eli Apple and Sterling Shepard.
Well, you know what? If they play well, they won't boo them. I mean,
preaching to the choir, man.
Yeah, the Giant
fans in New York and Philadelphia generally don't boo players who are doing well.
No, and they won't boo if you play well. If you play like crap, they're gonna boo the hell out of you. Guess what? Go out there and don't be so awful.
See, now here's a comment that just pisses me right the hell off by Mike Royal. I think we're being a bit tough. 2 plays and they are 5-2. They are competitive in almost every game.
Yeah, so are the Giants.
Are you kidding me?
So are the Giants, and they're 1-5.
Mike,
so
I'm sure Mike's a fan of the eighth place soccer team getting trophies at the end of the soccer season as well. I bet you Mike's really big on the participation trophy. That's a joke.
Trophy.
That's a joke statement. How soft can you be as a fan? How can you not? How can you look at these? It's called losing when you almost win.
Yeah,
I don't care if you lose 17-16
win or lose.
or 42-10. A loss is a loss is a loss is a loss.
Absolutely.
And because Mike, I bet Mike's a guy who thinks this is all fine because they won the Super Bowl last February.
That's like saying
it's not fine.
That's like saying the Giants
It's not
were
fine. How can you not have an edge to you
right.
and watch the Eagles right now and not be totally pissed off at what's going on?
That's like saying the Giants should be 3-3. If it weren't for the 61-yard field goal and the schmuck at the end of the game fumbling in the Jacksonville game, well, you know what? They didn't because they screwed up, and that's what teams that aren't good do. Bad teams screw up and lose games because they screwed up, just like the Cowboys yesterday. Ready to kick a 47-yard field goal, and they get a snap infraction. And then the ball goes back, and they have to kick a 52-yard field goal.
Because our man James broke that. I have never seen a team get so many illegal procedure penalties on wide receivers.
As the Cowboys.
No, as the Eagles.
Oh, the Cowboys were doing.
I can't speak to any game besides. I watched the Eagles game.
I watched a few of the games yesterday.
I watched the Eagles game from like 5 to 7 yesterday on DVR because I had work. And it didn't get ruined. Surprise! 2018, I made the whole day without communicating to anyone.
Well, that's very good.
Football, that's good work.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But I've never seen, because they got 3 against Minnesota. Jeffrey definitely had 1, but I feel like Ertz got 1 as well yesterday. I don't understand how you get a false start on as a receiver. Makes no sense to me. It's undisciplined.
Well, yeah, it is undisciplined because they should be looking in at the ball. I mean, that's just a lack of focus. They of all people should be looking at the ball. I can understand a running back maybe because they're not like looking right at the ball. These guys are on the line. They could see the ball as clear as day. There's no reason why they can't get off the line and not go too
And
soon.
Jason Peters is good for 3 false start penalties a game. I've learned that this year. He's on discipline in his old age as well. Mike Royal, there's a difference between getting blown out and losing a close game. Is there? Is there?
Still counts as a loss.
They don't. Like, does it count as half a loss if you lose a close one?
Let me ask you a question, Rob. When the Giants lost to the Panthers on a 61-yard field goal, do you think that loss stung any less than the loss against the Eagles?
Well, they all count as one loss in the column, right?
Right. Right.
You know,
I mean, when they lost the game,
it's not like
Panthers,
they gave the Giants
Giants didn't get
2
the moral.
losses.
They
No,
didn't
you
get-
got blown out. You got 2 losses in the stage because you were that bad. It's not how it works.
They didn't win the moral victory trophy against the Panthers when they kicked the 61-yard field goal against them. No, they didn't. Or 63, excuse me.
Yeah, get him, Dion, because he's a soft Philly fan.
Yeah,
he thinks it's fine. He thinks it's fine that this team is inferior because they won the Super Bowl last year. And if you want to have a Dallas Cowboys mentality like that and live in the past, go right ahead. Be my guest. It won't be tolerated here. Not on the Sports Hounds. Not really by any of the shows on A2D Radio. It's just soft. So Dion got him. Let's see what we got. We got a lot of chat. We got a lot of chatter in the box.
Yes, we do.
Everyone's being great.
Two Gun Tommy, different year, different team. Yeah. Well, he.
Last February means
was
fucking nothing, folks. It means nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. It might as well as not even happened. I'm glad that it happened. It validated this franchise on a level that it's never been recognized before.
It was the best season in Eagle history.
Correct.
I mean, you know what? Last year, they were the best team, and they won. Fair and square. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They beat everybody who stood in front of them. They beat all the best teams. They didn't get out of playing any. There weren't any teams that they didn't get out of playing. They had to play Minnesota
and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they had to play Atlanta. I mean, they had to beat New England. They didn't. There was nothing soft about
everything. Everything went right last year.
Okay.
Everything went right.
It did.
They were a good team, but they got every break.
But every Super Bowl winner gets a lot of breaks. Listen, look, you could just turn around and look at baseball. Look at all the breaks the Boston Red Sox got against Houston.
Yeah.
The home run.
You need luck to win.
The home run that Altuve hit, that was a home run. The guy reached into the stands to catch the ball.
Yeah.
The fans are allowed to interfere with you if you reach in the stands.
I didn't understand that
Joe
call
West
at all.
might be the dumbest, fattest moron.
He's such a bad
in the
umpire.
history of baseball.
Him and that other guy,
Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Angel, I screwed up 5 calls at first base. Hernandez against the Yankees.
He's horrible
in the Yankee game. In a 16-1 game.
That's Cowboy Joe West, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they call him?
He's probably.
Why is he doing postseason games?
For the same reason Angel Hernandez is doing postseason
He's
games.
even worse.
Joe West is he's a fat disgrace. And I may be fat, guys, but I'm not as fat as I used to be. I lost a little weight.
You're slimmed down.
Yes.
You gotta be careful. You can only make fun of fat people when you're fat. If you're gonna slim down like this, you can't be making fun of people.
Well, yeah, he's still fatter. Joe, you're still fatter than me.
Greg Milikovic, sorry I'm late. Gonna go 8-8 for me. This is the 7-9 team I thought they'd be last year. I was just a year off. I mean,
listen, they had a great team last year. They had, if you look at the running backs, they had Jay Ajayi and they had
Blunt.
They had Blunt. And
This team misses. I mean, we talked about it a lot when you were at the game with Ralphie, but this team misses LeGarrette Blunt.
Oh, big time. LeGarrette Blunt, by the way, he had a 5-yard touchdown run yesterday against the Dolphins. I mean, that guy inside the 10-yard line is money. I mean, he's so tough to bring down. I'll tell you what, when he was with the Eagles, how hard was he to tackle? I mean, how many guys did he run? All I know is I remember those games against the Giants. I mean, he was running guys over. The Giants could not tackle him. And why they let him go and didn't just pay him is beyond me. I would have kept him. If I had a choice of keeping him or Jay Ajayi, I would have kept him. Because I love guys that run people
It looks
over.
like an oversight 7 weeks into the 2018 season. I can't argue with that. I don't think any intelligent Eagles fan would argue with that. These running backs are horrible.
Yeah,
they completely stink.
They were expecting way too much out of these guys. You know, I mean, it is what it is. So, you know, at this point, Howie still has a chance to make a couple of moves, try to put some spark back into this team. This team certainly isn't out of it. They have 4 division games left with the Cowboys and Redskins. I mean, if they win the 4 division games, you know, then they even if they go ahead and they lose as expected in LA and New Orleans,
they can't score points. They can't move the ball. I don't understand how they're going to be able to compete.
I don't understand how they're not moving the ball. Even with lousy running backs, they still have such a good offensive line. I mean, they should still be able to move the ball. I just don't get it.
Played much better last year, the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree to a point, but still, they got a very good offensive line. I mean, it's not like they have slouches out there. You know, they're still pretty darn effective. They can move defenses back.
All right, Michael Sabo. Hey guys, do you think we make some big trades for an RB, quarterback, or wide receiver? If so, who? Reports where they offered a second-round pick for Amari Cooper. I'm glad that we don't have Amari Cooper. Do you think they turn the sights towards Demaryius Thomas, McCoy, or Bell? Reality, just wanted to know what you think Israel.
McCoy got hurt yesterday. So
McCoy got a concussion yesterday, and the narrative coming out of Buffalo before that game started was the Bills want to hold on to LaShawn McCoy unless they're blown away,
right.
Which I don't understand. I don't understand their thinking there. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They can get a couple of draft picks and restock around Josh Allen.
I can tell you another guy that I think that they could get for next to nothing that I think would be a big time improvement would be Frank Gore.
Frank Gore, that's an interesting name.
A veteran like him.
Because you remember they got Jay Ajayi in the middle of the season last year. There was no one even knew that Jay Ajayi was even on the trade block.
No, but Frank
Gore just
kind
of came out of nowhere.
Miami is not going to make the playoffs this year.
No,
even though
they stink.
They're 3-3 and they're one game behind New England, but they got to know they're not going to beat New England this year.
It's the Monday night game next. No, it's New England versus Buffalo. I'm sorry,
but
not Miami.
They have to know that they're not going to make the playoffs this year. I mean, I think he would be perfect for the Eagles. You get a nice veteran presence out there.
Demaryius Thomas? I think Demaryius Thomas is a good player. So if they traded for him, I mean, I wouldn't complain.
I mean, there are some guys out there.
But I think that they need a speed receiver.
See, I don't think receiver is a position they need to go out and trade for, though. They need to get.
Well, it seems like based on the rumors and reports, it seems like the Eagles think they need to go out and trade for a receiver.
Now,
these are just rumors and reports. Who knows what's true and what's not?
I understand that, but it just seems to me if maybe there are better receivers available than there are running backs available.
I think this team 1,000% needs to add a running back somehow, some way.
Yeah,
it doesn't take much to upgrade the room because I think the running backs on the Eagles completely stink. But if you can get me a top-tier talent like Bell or David Johnson, I'll even throw McCoy. Well, McCoy's hurt now, so we can't
got a concussion, so I don't think you're going to get him. But, David Johnson,
who else? I mean, Jordan Howard's name's been out there.
The Bears are not trading Jordan Howard. Why would they? The Bears are a good team.
I'm just reiterating what I see on the internet as reports.
I know, but you know what though? You have to also look at common sense. The Bears think they can make the playoffs this year.
I think the Bears might make the playoffs this year.
So they're not going to give up a guy. They're not going to give up a guy like him.
Well, I think everyone sees Tariq Cohen blowing up, so they think they might be expendable. I don't know.
Yeah, listen, to have two guys that can run the ball though is pretty valuable.
Like a guy like Frank Gore would be. I would love that. I would love that.
The whole thing with Frank Gore, Rob, is that he won't cost you anything. And you know what? I think he's really
like fifth all time in rushing yards.
Yeah, and he's having a good year. And you know what? You know that he's not going to be afraid of the moment. You know, and I just think that the stability that a guy like that would add to the offense, I think he'd be just a calming influence in that locker room and with the offense. And I think that's a guy that could really help them.
According to NFL.com, per Dion, I guess he read this on NFL.com, the Eagles have reached out to Arizona about Patrick Peterson's availability.
Okay, there you go. Now
That's great.
They should also talk to them about Johnson. Because Johnson would be.
You give me
player.
David Johnson and Patrick Peterson, I'll give you a first, second, and third round pick.
Well, they may want your first this year or next year, but
cool.
You know
Fine.
what?
Fine.
They may
done.
They may be smart enough. If I were the Eagles, I would probably do that because those are two guys that would make a huge. Can you imagine David Johnson on the Eagles? Jesus Christ, that guy! I mean, that guy's a big time player. I mean, the Cardinals are terrible. They have nobody.
They
now.
stink.
Yeah, they got old and horrible.
When you think the Eagles' offensive line is woeful, then you haven't watched many Arizona Cardinals games.
Oh, the Cardinals are no good anymore.
I thought that poor Josh Rosen on Thursday Night Football last week.
Yeah, he's gonna have a tough time this year.
I mean, he's lucky he finished the game. I mean, he didn't finish the game. He got hurt a couple different times, a couple different body parts, and
but he would be David Johnson would be a perfect player for them. I just don't know if the Cardinals would get rid of him. If I were them, I would, because when you're as bad as they are, and he's not a young player anymore.
David Johnson's like 25 years old.
Yeah, but he's played for what, 4 years now?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, but running backs that play for 4 years are pretty beat up. So maybe they might think that by the time they get good again, he's not going to be a factor for them. The Cardinals are right now going into their descent. They're not getting better right now. They're going into their descent. It's only going to get worse for them for the next couple of years before it starts getting better.
Well, what about a guy like Larry Fitzgerald? He wouldn't cost you much.
Larry Fitzgerald would be a nice option too.
I mean, he's retiring at the end of the season. How much can they want for him?
The question is, does he want to go, or does he want to stay? I mean, if I were him, I would want to try to win the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't give two shits if I were the Cardinals. If I could get a decent draft pick for Larry Fitzgerald, I don't care what you want to do.
Oh no, I don't think the Cardinals would care. But I wonder if he has a no trade, or because guys like him, you just don't know.
Michael Sabo likes my trade offer. Patrick Peterson, David Johnson, first, second. Take a one next year. Take one. Take our ones for however many years you want.
Well, let's not get carried away. Maybe a one and a two.
No,
this
because
year
I want to win now. I want to establish dominance in the NFL. They have a quarterback that can do it. Carson Wentz is good. He choked yesterday in a big spot after the pass interference. He made two awful decisions, but he's a franchise quarterback. He's got the goods. He's going to be good for a long time in this league if he stays healthy.
Yesterday was also, with the wind and everything.
I don't want to hear about the wind,
yesterday,
Brad. I don't want to hear about the wind. Okay, well, the wind wasn't affecting Carolina when they were marching up and down the field in the fourth quarter.
Didn't affect Kirk Cousins up in the Meadowlands either yesterday.
It did not.
That's for sure. Well, okay. I mean, I hear you. But
I don't like excuses.
I understand.
I don't like excuses. I don't like offenses that struggle to score 21 points when every rule they make up is beneficial to scoring points and beneficial to the offense.
Sounds like my team.
I don't like it at all.
My team who doesn't score at all. Wow. Now, would you believe that the Giants and Falcons in the second quarter?
See, this is why I don't bet.
Scoreless.
This is why I don't. This is why I don't like over under bets.
However, the Giants are on the 24-yard line of Atlanta, so they're now threatening. But you could be reasonably assured that they probably will get a field goal.
Flyers down 2-0 to the Avalanche at the barn.
Or throw an interception. Yeah, whatever. That's very Giant-like. Yeah, actually the Falcons have the ball on their 27, and it's 3rd down and 8 for them, and it's scoreless in the second quarter. Now, I would that kind of surprises me. But Atlanta has no running game. They've run the ball for 15 yards so far. So does this stuff surprise you? No, I guess it probably doesn't. The Giants, let's see, Eli Manning is 9 for 9 and 76 yards. But no points. Oh, boy. And Saquon Barkley, 4 rushes for only 7 yards. And, and so the beat goes on.
They had some defenses showing out tonight.
I guess. It's funny, Atlanta hasn't played defense all season until Eli and the Giants come in. Eli's 9 for 9, and they still don't have any points. What does that say? It's kind of like Carson going 30 for 37, and the Eagles score 17 points. Sometimes you wonder. Eli.
And realistically, I know that's a great stat line, but realistically, the way the Eagles pass the ball, 7 incompletions is too many. You should be 30 for 37 when all you do is dink and dunk. Should you not?
You're not wrong. See, 9 for 9 for 76 yards.
7 incompletions is too many incompletions with the way that the Eagles are passing the ball these days.
So 9 completions for 76 yards. That's
it's an 8-yard average.
8. I mean, come on, throw the damn ball down the field.
No, that's actually about right. Even Patrick Mahomes was only at 9 last night. Jared Goff was at 7. Kirk Cousins was at 6 against the Jets. So, I mean,
yeah, but they throw the ball down the field.
Seems like
though.
7 or 8 is pretty normal. If you can get 9 is pretty good. Because I thought the same thing. Because Carson Wentz had it's like an 8.2 average per completion. I don't think that's good enough. If you have 30 completions, Carson should be like 425 yards. I feel like on 30 completions.
Yeah, he should have 300 yards.
He had 300 yards. He had 310 yards on 30 completions.
Okay.
I think.
Now you're right. He should be about 400 actually. I mean, you got to throw the ball down the field, and it's surprising.
Deion Brown, Carson played underwhelming despite his numbers. I saw at least 6 plays where he had a wide open receiver and miss. Carson has to make those plays. I 100% agree. I don't want to kill Carson Wentz because he's really good, but
that one play
despite
when he had the guy
being 30 for 37.
That one play when he had the guy wide open
right
on
the side.
Yeah.
He would have walked in for a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, there was nobody there.
But, yeah, he went 30 for 37. He threw for 300 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. I wouldn't say he played great. I wouldn't. I thought that he looked really good against the Giants. I know the Giants stink, and that's a JV team.
Everybody looks.
He looked like the old Carson Wentz against the Giants. He looked crisp. He looked strong. He had zip on the ball. And then yesterday, maybe the wind had something to do with it, but I don't know. I tend to agree with Deion. I don't know if underwhelm's the right word, but he could have played better. And I think he's got to punch that ball in when he gets it. Would they have it on the 15-yard line, inside the 15-yard line?
Yeah, time was not a factor because
there was like a minute and 22 left or something like that.
The thing is, they got the ball down there immediately because of the pass interference call.
I mean, you got to punch that in.
It's not like they had It's not like the clock got milked before they got down there. They were down there in plenty of time.
It's frustrating watching this team play offense right now, and I don't understand why the offense gets such a pass. I mean, they didn't execute. They didn't execute Jim Schwartz's defensive scheme well at all yesterday. Let me rephrase. They didn't execute Jim Schwartz's defensive scheme well in the fourth quarter.
Right.
3 quarters, they played great. If you told me the Eagles were gonna let up 21 points, Christian McCaffrey was gonna be pretty much a non-factor. He's been killing teams all season. I don't know what he did against your Giants, but he probably did good if they scored 33 points.
Oh yeah,
Christian McCaffrey.
The Giants
and,
couldn't stop them.
Cam Newton, he only had like 40, 50 rushing yards. If you told me all that, I said the Eagles win easy. All they got to do is score 22 points to win the game.
Oh, the other thing is, the one guy that you got to guard at the goal line is Olsen. He's the one guy that they like to go to in the end zone. And he was wide open yesterday.
Well,
on that last touchdown.
Because you gotta load the box, because Newton is he's his own goal line back.
No, I understand that, but
I'd rather make Newton throw it to Olsen rather than giving Cam a QB sneak into the end zone.
Yeah, but they were weren't they on the 12-yard line when they threw that pass for the touchdown? I mean,
no, they were right there. They were right there. The play fake, the one that won it.
Yeah. Were they on the 2 or 3 yard line? I thought they were on the.
They did a play fake and they kind of rolled out, and Olsen was just wide open in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, you're right.
Frank, what's this? Roman Reigns has leukemia?
Oh my.
The what now? I think this is the first time I talked all show. I've been setting up everything for the station and everything.
Roman Reigns, WWE. This is on Yahoo.com, so I think we agree it's a reliable source.
All right.
On Monday night, WWE star Roman Reigns, real name Joe
Yep, it is official. It is official.
Revealed
Roman
that he was
Reigns.
taking a leave of
Wow.
absence as he battles leukemia.
Jeez.
The stunning announcement opened Raw as Noah revealed that he has battled the disease in the past
Wow.
and that he had been in remission since 2008. He's the
Oh
champ,
my
right?
Wow.
Wow. I mean, when you think about what a
Official tweet
Yeah.
from I've been battling leukemia for 11 years, and unfortunately, it's back. I'm going to have to relinquish the Universal Championship.
Jeez.
wow.
But that's a shame.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I know some of the wrestling shows. I know he's like
Yeah.
the Robert Covington of the
Yeah.
WWE.
You either love him or hate him. I mean, regardless.
Not that I'm the biggest wrestling. That's
Yeah.
pretty big news, and
Yeah,
that's a real shame.
Yeah. Especially
Wow.
that this guy was projected to be, well,
I guess we'll
he's
have
built
to,
as the next face of the WWE, and him to. Go
He's
through
been-
that.
And he's been the face of the WWE for the last few years.
Yeah.
For at least like the last 3 or 4 years he's been.
Exactly.
That's
It's-
horrible.
Absolutely, but I hope that he
So I
makes a
guess the,
quick. Well, hopefully his recovery. I don't know how to describe his fight. Ends up with a victory, in the best of ways. That is this.
That just shows you, man. No matter
Yeah.
how big and strong you are, if that cancer doesn't matter how much
Yeah.
money you have, doesn't matter how many muscles you have.
Doesn't matter. Anybody can
Big-
get it.
The big C gets a hold of you.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. But I guess Thursday night we'll have to tune in to lazy. That's when it is on lazy booking.
Lazy booking. Yeah. I know.
See
In
what
this
they-
very ring, I know. I don't know if they
Well,
touched on it.
Monday afternoon is in this
Yeah.
very ring.
Yeah.
Well,
Monday afternoon.
they didn't have the news. To do
Yeah,
their
that
show
is
today.
true. Mm.
Wow.
So I know they're going to be talking about it next week. And I know lazy booking. I know they'll be touching a lot on that, I guess, for a good chunk of the show. Depends on what they're going to be doing.
That's crazy. Anyway, it's break time. Sports Hounds be back exclusively on YouTube after the break. World Series, Sixers talk coming up. We'll be back after this. A2D Radio, we're back exclusively on YouTube, hour 2, talking Eagles, about to get in some World Series and some Sixers talk. Scantano Sports poll question is, what do you think the Eagles' record will be at the end of the season? I'm at 8-8. Brad, you're kind of at the 8-8.
I'm at 9-7.
9-7. Hey, you're in the 8-8 range, which is fair because I see an average team. I see this team play week to week. I see a very average team. I see an offense that struggles to score 21 points. You talk about the defense all you want, and they certainly have their flaws too. But this is a borderline top 10 defense in terms of the statistics. This offense, like 25th, I think I saw they were ranked. Frank, where do you sit on the poll question?
Ooh, that's a tough one. As of right now, as of right now, I'm going to go with 9-7.
Okay.
But I think 9-7 is going to win the East.
It might. I mean, the Redskins have substance.
They have substance, but
they're a good team.
They are good, but
they also have a significantly easier schedule.
Is that momentum going to carry through into November, December, which is Alex Smith's biggest weakness?
But Frank, their schedule is also significantly less difficult than the Eagles' schedule. The Eagles have a rough schedule.
That is true. I mean, you are the reigning champs for a reason, but this is a whole new year. Super Bowl.
I don't want to hear.
I'm past the Super Bowl
stuff. I don't
want
to hear anyone talk about the Super Bowl.
Who's Washington going to play in the Central? Detroit?
Probably Green Bay,
Detroit.
Minnesota.
They're going to play Detroit and Seattle. They're going to play Detroit well, they already they tied Green Bay, right? So they had their
they didn't play Green Bay.
Washington?
No, they beat Green Bay.
They beat Green Bay. Who did they tie?
They didn't tie anybody.
I thought they were 4-2-1.
They're 4-2. No.
Okay, they're 4-2. Okay.
Who? Detroit?
Who did Washington?
No, the
Washington.
Skins.
Yeah, the Skins.
Washington.
They beat Green Bay, right?
They beat Green Bay. They beat Arizona. They beat Dallas yesterday.
They beat Carolina.
They beat
Carolina.
Okay, they're going to probably play.
They lost to the Colts somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was ridiculous. Now they're going to be playing in the West. Who are they going to be playing in the West? The Cardinals. No, they already played. They
third
played
place.
the Cardinals. They already played the Cardinals, so they're done. They're done with that. But I mean, they're basically
so they play a third place schedule.
Right. Which is not going to be. They've actually played their tough game, their third place schedule. Now their schedule is going to be the same as everybody else's. You know what I'm saying? Because they played Green Bay and they played Green Bay and they played the Cardinals. So those are the two swing games. So and they won those two games, and I think those two games. I mean, you look at it, the Eagles have to play the Rams and they had to play Minnesota. I mean, that's significantly more difficult. I mean, it's not even close.
And they have the Giants coming up this week.
Right, and the Giants are going to come off getting blown out tonight because they're definitely headed for that. I mean, who the hell is Marvin Hall? I mean, all the great receivers the Atlanta Falcons have, and Marvin Hall catches a 47-yard touchdown. Are you kidding me? You guys complain about the Eagles, man. Try being a Giant fan right now. I mean, Marvin Hall.
All right, let's talk some hoops. Because the Sixers look bad on opening night. They come back with 2 wins. They blow out the Bulls and they squeak by the Magic without Ben Simmons the entire game against the Magic.
That was a very
They
interesting
won.
game to watch.
They won,
and it was a great win.
They got the W. That's all that matters.
But my thing with the Sixers is 85% of the Sixers games, assuming that Ben Simmons is not out with a back or has a lingering back all season, 85% of this team's games is going to go exactly how the game against the Bulls went. They're going to show up. They're going to lace up the sneaks. They're going to win by double digits because Simmons and Embiid are just that much better than the guys on the other team. They'll outclass 85%. They'll outclass their opponent 85% of the time. Then you got the other 15%, which is against teams like the Lakers, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Bucks, who they play on Wednesday, potentially without Ben Simmons. That won't go well if Ben Simmons the Celtics and the Raptors. You want to put the Blazers and the Jazz, whoever you want to put in there out west. They don't see those teams. Those are the only games I really care about. I only care about 15% of the games. Because if they start losing games to the 85% of the league that they should be outclassing, that's a huge problem. But when I see them lose on purpose for 2.5 years, and I see the Boston Celtics lose on purpose for 0 years, and you don't even look like you belong on the same court as the Boston Celtics on opening night, that really makes me angry.
And I want to get to this because I've been arguing with a few of the people on A to D about this. What makes you guys think that you're that you're going to be better than Boston this year?
I don't.
When Boston, I know you don't, but I don't get this whole argument about what do you guys out there? Why do you think that somehow the Sixers are going to be better than the Celtics? The Celtics beat you in 5 games without Irving and without Gordon Hayward. Okay, this year they have both of them playing, and those are 2 pretty good players. Okay, which just gives them that makes them 2 more deep. The Sixers did nothing in the offseason to really balance that out.
No, the coach told you, the coach who became the GM after the Twitter scandal, told you needed a star to compete for a championship. They didn't get a star.
No, and I don't honestly I don't.
And I picked them to go to the finals, but let's be who cares who wins the East? It's going to be the Warriors in 4, a clean sweep, and then maybe they lose a guy or 2 to free agency next offseason. But for you to lose because I've been patient with this process. I've been patient. For 2.5 years, I watched them lose games on purpose. This is the year where I'm supposed to be getting some validation for watching a professional sports team lose on purpose.
But what makes anybody
opening night was unacceptable.
What makes anybody think that they're better than Boston or better than Toronto this year?
I don't think they're better than either of them.
I'm sorry. I saw Kawhi Leonard had 31 points.
Kawhi Leonard is so good.
Kawhi Leonard is really, really good. He's a real good player.
He's a top 5 player in the league.
He is significantly better than DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, it's not even close.
I mean,
DeMar DeRozan can't shoot.
Not like Kawhi can. I mean, the Toronto Raptors have significantly improved their team. And how many games did they win last year?
Over 50. I mean, they were the 1 seed in the East. And
okay, so they're probably going to win.
They just can't beat LeBron. They can never beat LeBron.
But they don't have to worry about playing LeBron. Now they're going to have to try to beat the Celtics, and they're going to have to try to beat the Sixers. But right now, they're probably a little bit ahead of the Sixers right now, too.
What 1-2 punch are you taking, Embiid and Simmons or Kawhi and Kyle Lowry?
That's a tough one. Because Simmons, I mean,
Simmons is the only player that showed up against the Celtics. I don't think anyone else knew there was a game.
Problem is with Simmons, if you make him if you're able to keep him from going to the basket, you make him shoot from the outside, make him settle for jump shots, he's not going to beat you. That's the only thing. I mean, listen, Embiid is great. I mean, you can't. He's a fantastic player. There's nothing that guy can't do. But Leonard can do basically the same thing. You may not be able to rebound and be as much of a defensive factor as Embiid, but offensively he can do everything Embiid can do. Lowry can score too. I mean, Lowry can score just as much as Simmons. He may not be the flashy.
Lowry's a better point guard than Simmons.
Lowry is not the flashy kind of player that Simmons is, but Lowry's a very steady player.
Lowry can shoot the ball better than Simmons. He's got just as good handles. He's super fast.
He can play the Lowry's a very good player. So
he's not 6'10".
No, but I mean the thing is, if you look at those two teams, I mean Toronto has other guys. I think Ibaka's still on the team, is he not?
Yes.
I mean they're still a very solid player. They're still a very solid team.
They have.
They're a good team.
They have Danny Green to stretch the floor, who they also got from the Spurs in the Leonard deal.
I mean, they're good.
I need to see them look like they belong on the court with these elite teams. Because I don't care. Them being the Bulls by 20 points does nothing for them.
But they should.
That does nothing to tip the scales one way or another.
They need another star player. They didn't get one. Maybe, if they can get a star player during the season, which is always a possibility, then talk to me.
Who are you going to get? And I don't want Jimmy Butler.
What about Anthony Davis?
I mean, obviously, adding Anthony Davis is a no-brainer. He's fantastic. But how are you going to get Anthony Davis without giving up either Simmons or Embiid?
Would you trade Simmons for Anthony Davis straight up? I think Anthony Davis is a better player than Simmons. So I mean, I agree. That's just me, but I mean, Anthony Davis can
I don't
do
know
everything.
if I would do that, but that's the type of trade it would take. That's what it would take.
Or they would have to put Fultz. Do they still have a bunch of first-round picks left, or are they all gone now?
They have Miami's pick coming up. I don't know. I don't care about draft picks. Trade them all. Trade all your draft picks.
I mean, if
this fan base is talking about
if the Jazz get to the Pelicans. My bad. If the Pelicans get to a point where they're not going anywhere this year.
Well, the Pelicans are the best team going right now in the league. They're scoring 150 points a game.
It's early.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's early. But I mean, it's going to take that kind of a player. If they can somehow find a way to get that kind of a player. Maybe they can get somebody from one of those good young players from Denver. I mean, you never know who's going to be out there, who they might be able to get. But it's gonna take.
I don't care how many draft.
A bold, gutty trade.
I don't care how. I'll trade every draft pick for the next 15 years for a superstar to play with those two guys.
Yeah, well, if they can do that,
I don't want to hear this fan base has had nothing to look forward to besides the NBA draft for a long time. This is the year we need to see validation of losing on purpose. And I didn't see any validation on opening night. Not jumping off the bandwagon. I still think they're a good team, but I need to see that they belong on the same court as the Celtics, as the Raptors, as the Bucks, as the Lakers, the Blazers, these good teams.
Oh,
out
you've been
west.
mentioning Jimmy Butler
Yes.
on Facebook. Jimmy Butler would be a outstanding acquisition.
What's
for
he?
them.
What? But I'm not.
But Minnesota doesn't seem to want to trade him though.
Well, he certainly wants to leave Minnesota.
Yeah, he doesn't like it there. He's not happy.
He's
there.
not. Yeah, he doesn't
He's
like
just-
it
he
there
just
at
doesn't
all.
he just doesn't.
But
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like the cold. He's not happy.
yeah,
there
because
at
it's
all.
warm all the time in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, are Minnesota fans?
If
not,
this team adds Jimmy
good
Butler,
fans?
it's going to be very tough for people to score on them, opposing teams to score.
yeah, and
Because
he
you
can-
have Simmons, who is
but
a
he can
6'10"
score
point guard.
too.
I understand. I don't know, Jimmy Butler. I'd like. Let me look at his basketball because I can't. I don't like him freaking out, coming to practice, cursing everybody out because he's trying to force a trade. I don't like that at all. But
Yeah,
he
but
is
you
a
know
good
what?
player.
Yeah, and he's got that. Shall we say that little edge to his game, which they could really use. To be quite frank with you, it just honestly,
That's a good point because they do.
What about with me?
I think they need. Quite frankly, Frank,
Yeah.
I think the Sixers could use a little edge to their game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like a
know,
bully.
They're
a bully
little.
up
They're
there.
just
Oh,
a
yeah.
little. They're just a little bit too gentlemanly
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
absolutely.
Hey,
I mean,
I think every
the
team
Warriors have a bully on their team. I mean, it seems like every really good team has one guy who's kind of like a little asshole. That,
Oh, yeah.
that just does little nasty things.
Yeah.
That
plays
irritate,
a little dirty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that irritates the other team. You know? I mean, if you go down through the year, I mean,
Right.
tell me what's his name? Draymond Green isn't the sneakiest, dirtiest player in
Oh
the
yeah,
league.
he's dirty.
Yeah, but there's a lot.
But he's got a great edge to it. That's what makes him.
Yeah, but a lot
Great.
of.
I'm concerned that
I think a
Jimmy
lot of
Butler
teams like-
doesn't shoot threes well enough to be a true fit next to Ben Simmons. He's a career 40% shooter from deep. He's a career 54%. Hold on, what was it? Yeah, 45% from the field guy, which is very good. Shoots his free throws very well.
He's a no-brainer, Rob. He'd be terrific with the
16,
Sixers.
5, and 3.
Yeah, he'd be terrific with them. Plus, he's a real good defender too. I mean that's just one more key to the puzzle there. You know, I mean, listen, you have to figure out what you have to do to match up with Boston. Boston is the team that you're going to be chasing for the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, as long as Embiid is on the team, and as long as Simmons is on the team, you've got to
But
figure out a way to match up with
My
Boston.
whole thing with the Celtics game, what pissed me off about the Celtics game is you have Fultz and Simmons, who are number 1 overall picks. You have Embiid, that's a number 3 overall pick. You have Saric, who's a 10th overall pick. That's the process right there. Those 4 guys.
Okay.
And Boston lost 0 games on purpose. And they have Tatum, they have Jaylen Brown.
You know what? At this point, it really doesn't matter anymore.
What do you mean? What doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter whether they lost on purpose. At this point, this
Whoa,
is the team.
I
This
mean,
is the team.
what do you mean it doesn't matter?
Well, at this point, it's past history. This is the team. to
No,
have
no,
right now.
no. You're a Knicks fan. You weren't sitting here watching this team be the laughing stock of all things sports
Oh, and
with
you
their
don't think
lack
the Knicks
of
haven't been?
competition.
You don't think the Knicks haven't been a laughing stock for the last 20 years? I mean,
That's
yeah,
totally
we've had a
different.
couple.
They just don't know. They're incompetent.
I
Dolan
mean,
was incompetent.
We've had a
Isaiah
couple
Thomas
of good years,
was
but
Isaiah Thomas was incompetent.
we had a couple of good years. But I mean, listen, it's been awful.
No, the Sixers were the laughing stock of the league for 3+ years. Everyone and their mother took cheap shots at us for losing on purpose. So don't tell me that this fan base is suffering through that process. Don't tell me they don't deserve its past history and it doesn't mean anything. This fan base deserves to be validated with not shitty performances like I saw
still,
against Boston.
But it's still right now. If you're trying to build this team, okay, you have to try to build this team to match up against the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are the team that you're going to be fighting with for the next few years.
I
to
agree.
Get to the NBA
and they
Finals.
have a lot of work to do because they don't look like they belong on the same court as the Boston Celtics
But
right
when
now.
you're looking at when you're looking at trades, when you're looking at them, you have to look at how, if they got a certain guy, how they match up against Boston. Not how they match up against the Knicks and not how they match up against the Cavaliers, because they're going to destroy those teams whether they make a move or not. It's all about how they match up with the Celtics.
So what are you trading? What are you trading for Jimmy Butler?
I don't know. Maybe you might have to get rid of Fultz. They're going to want Fultz.
That's fine.
I don't know what.
Fultz, Sark, and a first-round pick. Does that get you Jimmy Butler?
That should get you Jimmy Butler. I would think.
Do you do that? Do you do that if
I
you're the Sixers?
If I was Minnesota, I would do it. I mean,
Frank, what do you think?
What's
it going to cost to get Jimmy Butler?
To me, Saric can kind of do for Minnesota.
Sarge, he's another guy like Corey Clement. He's so overrated.
But
he's so overrated by the
fan
base.
He'll score for them, but I mean.
I love Saric.
What do you love about Sarge? Let me ask you, because
I think he's valuable off the bench. He's valuable off the bench.
But he starts.
I mean, at this point, he should start. He should get his start.
I just see another player that's overrated by the fan base. And if I can trade him to get a guy like Jimmy Butler in here, I'm all for it.
The big thing is like, what are you going to trade for Jimmy Butler? And I know immediately you're going to throw in that 2021 draft pick, because I want to try to get that Michael Carter Williams trade off our backs for once, and that 2021 is still part of that MCW stuff.
Well, here's another.
Take all the picks, all the first-round picks they want.
Rob,
they're not going to do it for just draft picks.
They're going to do it for draft picks. They're probably going to throw in Saric, and I know the Timberwolves and how insane Thibodeau is. They probably want to throw in Simmons or Fultz, one of those guys. But
I have no problem. I
wouldn't pull the trigger on Butler.
What about Kemba Walker? He's going to be a free agent at the end of the season.
Excellent player.
If you got him, how do you match up against the Celtics? Do you think that could propel them?
Well, you need a guy. The guard you add has to be able to play off the ball, because Simmons is going to be your primary ball handler, no matter who you get.
Okay,
he's unbelievable.
I think Kemba Walker could play off the ball.
I understand, but the main flaw in the processes right now is you had 2 number 1 overall picks, and you took 2 guards who are incapable, who need to have the ball in their hands to be successful. Markelle Fultz, I don't care how much he develops, how much better he gets, his strength will never be playing 2-guard off the ball.
I think Walker could do that. I think he could adjust. He is a supremely talented player, and you got to wonder if the Hornets are going to be
no, the Hornets
competitive
stink
for the whole season.
They're horrible.
He's going to probably go at some point this season. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So he's another one.
I'm not sure if he's eligible for the Supermax, but if he gets the Supermax, his only motivation to stay in Charlotte is getting the most money.
But if he gets traded from there, what happens?
Well, I'm just saying, if he doesn't get traded during the season, he should hit the open market
right
in the offseason. The only thing that would keep him in Charlotte is money, because it's the NBA and they can offer him the most money.
Yeah, but if he played in LA or he played in New York, he'd make more money because he'd get the endorsements. So he'll make more money off the court in those 2 places. So it's not like
I'm 100%.
Or if he played in Philly, he'd also get more endorsements. You know that. Philly's a big market. So is New York. So is LA. Kemba Walker will probably not stay there, because he can make even if they can offer him the most money. Are you telling me that he can't, if he went to New York or he went to LA or he went to Philly, that he wouldn't be a star attraction and he wouldn't make money on commercials and all kinds of endorsements here? He absolutely would. He would be the official person for some car dealerships. You know what I'm saying? This is what he could do. He would be would make a fortune playing up here in any one of these cities. I mean, I don't see him staying in Charlotte. And you know what? I think he's definitely a guy that could get traded. And I think he might be a guy the Sixers could target at this point. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are going to be unrestricted free agents.
I would rather trade for Kemba Walker than Jimmy Butler.
And he's also a good guy too, from what I understand.
I don't care how good of a guy he is. I care about.
Well, he's a character guy, and that let's see some of his statistics.
Looking up basketballreference.com.
Okay. What do we got with Kemba Walker?
Okay. He's a career 36% three-point shooter, so I don't like that. He's a career 41.5 field goal percentage guy.
So he's not a terrific shooter.
19, 7, and 3. Yeah, I'm not sure this guy's going to be able to play off the ball here. I just don't.
How many assists does he get? Does he average?
5, 5.5.
Not great. Thought his numbers might be a little bit. He does play on a garbage team though, which doesn't help.
I don't know. The Sixers, they need a star. They need another star. They told you needed one at the beginning of the offseason. They didn't get one. LeBron picked the Lakers. Paul George never hit the market, and he didn't want to. He didn't want to trade for Kawhi Leonard because Dario Saric and Markelle Fultz are too good.
Or at least that's what they're telling you.
I don't get it with Dario Saric. I think he's overrated by this fan base. Him and Corey Clement are overrated by this fan base. And I don't understand it. I don't understand how, and maybe it happens in New York too, or any other fan base. You can speak to New York. But do the masses of fans fall in love with average players in New York like they do in Philadelphia, seemingly all the time?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
They do.
What's
Sure.
like an example? Who's a guy that all the fans love that you looked at and they were average?
Well, can I say that they're very good, but they're not great like you might think?
Like, I'm talking about a player who, in popular opinion, was viewed as a good player.
How about Tino Martinez?
Tino Martinez. So everyone
royalty in New York.
I know that.
Royalty in New York.
But you're not a fan, or
he's a really good player. But I mean, he wasn't Derek Jeter. He wasn't Bernie Williams. Wasn't Paul O'Neill.
Was he regarded in that category?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, I'll be honest with you. 1998, that one home run he hit against Langston really was his big moment. But he was one of the guys in 1996 in the playoffs and during the season. He was so bad they went and got Cecil Fielder. I don't know if you remember that, but they got Cecil Fielder to help play first base.
No, I don't remember that.
Because he was okay,
but
he was
pup then.
Okay, but he was coughing it up in 1996 so badly they went and got Cecil Fielder, and they brought Cecil Fielder in to play first base because Tino wasn't doing the job, especially against left-handed pitching. But I mean, he's an I could use him as an example. I mean, listen, John Starks. Another example. I mean, he's like legend in New York. But I mean, was John Starks really that great?
He was okay.
He was okay.
That's a good That's a better example.
Yeah, all right, John Starks is probably my best example as a Knick, as a guy that's like, okay, he was a good player. But I mean, if you ask Knick fans, he was like, he was
right.
Just a tier under Michael Jordan.
Well, that's what I see.
He was not a tier.
That's
under
what
Michael
I see.
Jordan.
Like when I see people that tell me Dario Saric is like, essential to this team's success. Like, I mean, I just don't see him as that good of a player. I see him as a role player. I see him as a bench player.
Okay,
Same with Corey Clement.
Here are some guys that are absolutely.
I just think they're overrated by the fan base.
Here are some guys that are absolutely good chances that are going to get traded. Okay.
In what? But
Kyrie Irving, who probably won't get traded. Klay Thompson is an unrestricted free agent. Jimmy Butler's going to.
They're going to make a run.
Jimmy Butler is a player option. He'll be gone. Kemba Walker is an unrestricted free agent. Eric Bledsoe with the Milwaukee Bucks is a free agent. Gordon Dragic.
Who was that on the Bucks?
Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
he's
just
that
giving.
I know
you
you're reading the list, but
I'm
Eric
just
Bledsoe
giving
doesn't
you.
do anything
Okay,
for me.
Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler.
Clay would be perfect, but you're not going to trade for him. You're going to have to wait until the offseason to get him. And he might leave.
I'll tell you what, he would.
Because they can't pay everyone.
No.
And he's not as good a player as Durant or Steph.
But he would really make a difference.
He'd be perfect to play next to Simmons.
He can shoot.
Perfect.
And
he can defend, and he's a complete player.
Yeah,
Great player.
And he doesn't have to have the spotlight either.
But I don't want to wait. I want to trade for someone.
Okay, well, let's see.
I want to win now.
Okay, I'm Tyreek Evans.
Who's he on now? Memphis?
He's on the Pacers.
He's on the Pacers. He's a Philly guy, but I mean, he's a bench player. You could trade for him and not. You might get him for a couple of second-round picks.
Listen, he averaged 19 points and 5 rebounds last year. So I mean,
he's old. He's injured a lot. I mean,
how much could he help you this year, though?
Oh well, a lot, I think.
All right, and then you have D'Angelo.
I'm not giving up a like Jimmy Butler and Klay Thompson. I would give them a premium package. I don't know if I can offer a premium package for Tyreek Evans.
Okay, here's the rest of the class. Okay, you got D'Angelo Russell, who probably wouldn't help. Ricky Rubio's not going to help you. Isaiah Thomas. No. Darren Collision.
Darren Collison. No.
Collison, I'm sorry.
He's good player. Good
Okay.
player, but I mean,
Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a pretty good player for the Nets, but I don't think he makes that big of a difference.
no, I mean he's a role player.
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
He stinks.
Redick is already on your team. Malcolm Brogdon on Milwaukee.
Brogdon, he can't play two guard.
Yeah. What about Jeff Teague?
Jeff Teague can't play two guard.
Okay, and Patrick Beverly. He's on the Clippers.
He's a defense first.
So he's not going to really help. And then
No.
and then there's Rajon Rondo. So those are the
Rajon
top.
Rondo can't play off
Yeah,
the ball.
those are your top 20 free agents according to NBA.com. So I mean, who probably would most likely
unless
get
they
traded.
make a splash for Jimmy Butler. I mean, who they have is who they have.
Right,
And
I mean,
they're going to be out in five. They're going to be out in 5.
As far as guys that are probably gonna get traded, I mean, I think Kemba Walker sounds to me, just looking at his situation, he sounds like a guy that's going to get traded.
Who?
Kemba
Sorry.
Walker.
Hey, I mean, I don't know if he's worth a premium package like a Jimmy Butler would be.
Yeah, he's not as good a shooter. And again, if you're going to have him play off the ball, does that lower his value somewhat? I mean, it might.
Well, I don't watch the Hornets.
No,
Ever.
neither do I. So I mean, I couldn't tell you. I just know his reputation. So I mean,
But his statistics and his splits would indicate that he would not be a good fit as a two guard.
so you're back to Jimmy Butler. Actually, Jimmy Butler looks like the guy.
Jimmy Butler is a two guard, and
And he can shoot the eyes out of the basket for sure. 40% from 3 is pretty good, Rob.
I guess.
40% for 3-pointers is not bad.
Well, what's Steph? What's he shoot from 3?
Well, yeah, but you're talking about.
I understand, but I need a reference point.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean that. And Dion, by the way, Dion would love to have Jimmy Butler. Current teammates are going at it verbally in the meeting rooms and locker rooms. He's been reading, and Dario has to clean up his shooting. He's been off like crazy lately. I mean,
Dario Saric is a hot and cold player. He needs to come off the bench and provide energy. I don't think the best use of his skill set is having him start.
all right. So Stephen Curry.
He's 43.7% from
Okay, he's 43
from
points.
3 for his career.
Butler is 40%.
Right. So yeah, that is pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. 40% is not bad, and a 45% shooter. He's a real good player. I think he makes. I think that's the guy they need to go out and get if they want to try to knock off the Celtics.
You're probably right.
I mean, you're right. I mean, we're looking at Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker would be a nice player for the Knicks to sign as a free agent. He might actually want to come back to the Knicks.
Kemba Walker needs to play point guard.
Right, but the Knicks could use
the Knicks need everything except for whatever position.
And you know what? Kemba Walker is from New York. He might want to come back. Who knows? That might be something that he might want to do. I mean, but that's not for the Sixers.
So
though.
Frank, I'm offering you Darius Saric, Markelle Fultz, and a first-round pick for Jimmy Butler. Are you taking that? Are you doing that?
I might want Miami's first-round pick too.
We'll take 2 first-round.
I want
picks.
two
It'll
first-round
probably.
picks for
I
him.
mean, I'm not the GM, but I mean.
You think that's too much? You think
I
that's
don't think
much
it's too much. I mean, I don't want Jimmy Butler personally,
Why?
but I don't know. There's just something
because
about.
he mouthed off.
There's just something about him. I would love to have him, but there's just something that I don't know. I just don't think he would groove well with the Sixers. But if I were the GM, if I were Elton Brand, I would definitely take that move. I would make that move, pull the trigger.
I understand.
Get Butler in the
I
Sixers.
understand.
The
Are you
assets.
scared? Are you scared of Jimmy Butler because he's mouthing off to his teammates in the media and trying to force his way out of Minnesota, a place I guess he doesn't get along with Tibbs or doesn't like Minnesota? I don't know.
I think some of it has to do with. I think a lot of the issue with Jimmy Butler is probably mostly because of Tibbs. Because I know with the current setup of the T-Wolves franchise,
wasn't he messing with Towns' girlfriend?
I don't know.
I thought I heard something about that.
I got the Eagles scoring 17 points a game
There's
at home, man.
there's just
you gotta worry about the tabloids in Minnesota too. I can't know everything.
I think there was something about him with Towns' girlfriend or Towns with his girlfriend.
Apparently
One of them.
probably what's going on.
Is that true, Frank?
I don't know. I'm looking at this story.
There's some kind of weird stuff going on with somebody's girlfriend with him, with Butler and Towns. I think that's what I heard. So I mean, again, am I 100% sure? I mean, I don't live up there. I don't really follow the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I don't follow the T-Wolves that much, but I've been keeping an eye on it. Yeah, it's a young squad. I mean, they could be on the up and up, but Tibbs, I don't even know. I think he's screwing this team up.
He's not a good coach. Tibbs is not a good coach.
I mean, he's okay at best, but he just can't get over certain hurdles.
The only player he seems to get the most the best out of is Derrick Rose for whatever reason. Yeah,
it's like watching the Bulls again, it's sadder now.
Jimmy Butler averaging.
Yeah, and they even have the loser from the Knicks now.
Yeah, they got. It's.
Who's the loser from the Knicks?
The center that they spent all that money on.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his name now, but what a scumbag that guy turned out to be.
Jimmy Butler is averaging 35.5 points a game through 3 games this season. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
5 assists through 3 games. And he is shooting 50% from 3 through 3 games.
Oh, he would fit into your team.
I'm sorry. These are Kemba Walker stats.
Oops.
Oopsies.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, Kemba Walker's pretty good.
Because I thought Jimmy Butler wasn't.
Kemba Walker's pretty good. I mean, we can't. You can't sit here and say he's not a real good player. He may not be a great fit for the Sixers, though. You're right.
Jimmy Butler is averaging 28 points. He's only played 2 games. He sat out 1 game for rest on the 3rd game of the season, which clearly they're trying to save him from being hurt. He's averaging 4 steals through 2 games. That's very good. And he is shooting 34% from 3 through 2 games.
It's early.
45% from the field, which is good.
Which is that's his career is 45%. So you pretty much can figure that's going to be. But, he's one of those guys who'll probably have his games where he's, 6 for 8 from 3.
No, career from 3, he's 34%.
Oh, he's 34%? Okay.
45 field goal, 34 threes. Through 2 games this year, he's 54% from the field, 40% from 3. So he's not a shooter.
He's not a great shooter, no. But he can play defense. That's for sure.
And he can penetrate, and he can. They need a 2-guard. And they need to have Fultz and Saric as the co-captains of the second unit. Fultz just needs to be worried about giving them 15 to 20 minutes off the bench a night. Forget about him starting. It's frustrating. Fultz is very frustrating. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to not completely lose my shit on the kid. But, I mean, it's the same game he's been playing his whole life. And all of a sudden he gets to the league and he forgets.
And he got a case of the yips.
He gets scared. He gets the yips. Like, come on. It's very frustrating to watch. And, like, the last game was the first time I've seen him as a Sixer. I was like, oh. Like, he's got to do more to pique my interest, even if he doesn't have a great stat line. Like, get a rebound and take it coast to coast. Like, give me some type of monster jam. You know, make a couple threes in a row, and to make me be like, oh, that's why he went first overall. That's why the Sixers traded up and gave Boston all these draft picks to get this guy. That's why. Boston fleeced the Sixers in that trade. Total fleece job. They got the better player, and they got a bigger package.
I got the guy for you.
You got the guy?
I got the guy. I don't know how you're going to get him, but what about Bradley Beal?
He's hurt often.
He's a sniper, though.
He's a good sniper, but the injuries concern me a bit.
But he's John Wall's running mate. Okay.
Correct.
He's a 2. He can shoot. He can score.
He's a definite 2 guard. He can definitely shoot.
He can play off the ball.
He's an extremely talented player.
You know that.
Look at your Knicks making a run, down 18 at half. They lost by a point. Oh no, the fourth quarter just started. Excuse me. 88-87.
They're only down by 1.
Yeah, they made a run.
Good for them. Well, at least
Giants only down 7. Could be a good night in New York.
It's a miracle.
But yeah, if you can get Bradley Beal, what's he gonna cost though?
He'll be expensive because he's not a free agent. But I mean, you know, you're gonna have to give up something to get something. But
you got to be careful.
But I think he'd be a guy that would really fit the bill. And they probably could. They have
absolutely
enough assets,
fits the bill.
They have enough assets to make a deal like that, though. That's the
trade every draft pick you have.
Well,
I don't want to hear any more about draft picks.
The Wizards are gonna want
every single one, Tom. Trade every single draft pick. I don't want to hear a thing about. I'm sick of the days where the only thing we had to look forward to in basketball season was the NBA draft for 3 drafts in a row. That's the only thing that mattered. I'm done with that bullshit. It's done. So if you got to trade 3 first-round picks to get 4 first-round picks to get something done,
right?
I'm in.
But you guys
whatever.
have enough. Thing is, your team has enough assets that they can make trades like that. That's the point I'm trying to make. You know, they have enough assets that they can do stuff like that. And for whatever reason, they don't seem to do it. And I'm not getting why they don't.
I need to see a win on Wednesday. They play the Pistons tomorrow. They got it back-to-back here, so they're playing Milwaukee, the second game of back-to-back. That's tough because Milwaukee. The Pistons aren't bad either. You got Dwayne Casey now. They got Griffin. Right. They got some guys there. It's not.
But Milwaukee is going to be a very interesting game.
If
I always look forward to the games against Milwaukee.
If Ben Simmons is healthy and they get run out the building like they did against Boston,
right?
I'm gonna be very upset.
And
it's
going to be a very interesting season.
Here's a guy. Because
like I said, only 15% of the games I watch with binoculars.
Yeah.
Like the Bulls and the Magic game, like the game 7 was on during. I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah.
I saw that it was close and I put it on at the end, but I was watching the baseball game.
Right.
Like I don't care when they're playing the Orlando Magic. I don't care when they're playing the Chicago Bulls.
Rob, what about a guy like Fox on
De'Aaron Fox?
De'Aaron Fox on Sacramento.
What draft was he, Frank?
I think it was the Fultz draft, if I remember correctly.
He's looking like a pretty good player.
I think it was the year before that.
Was it? I know it was one of those.
I love De'Aaron Fox at Kentucky.
That might be a guy.
But he's not going to be able to play off.
It was the Fultz draft. He was the 5th overall pick.
Right, because I remembered I liked Josh Jackson a lot in that draft.
Josh Jackson, yeah.
And I liked because I wanted the Sixers to stay at 3.
Yeah, because nobody knew what was going to happen.
But you want a young player.
And I didn't think Tatum was going to be this.
Yeah.
I thought Tatum had bust written all over him.
I mean, going into that draft, I remember I just remember thinking to myself, I'm like, Boston's going to draft Tatum. Like, regardless on how you want to spin it, somebody's going to draft Jason. Boston will draft Jason Tatum wherever they're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tatum was going to be there.
And that was Ball. Ball went second.
And Ball went second. And then there was the big talk. It's like, oh, should the Sixers go after Lonzo Ball? Oh,
No.
should they go after Jason Tatum? Oh, Markelle Fultz. But
Lonzo Ball is Ricky Rubio.
yeah.
Fine
Lonzo
player,
is just
not at 2. But I remember, I'll admit it. I
too
wanted
much.
either De'Aaron Fox or
Yeah.
I wanted Josh Jackson.
Yeah, I like those two.
De'Aaron Fox would be a good fit for them. He can shoot, though. That's the whole point. He can shoot. He may have to adjust his game a little bit, okay, but he can shoot, and he's a young player. I mean,
I love De'Aaron Fox. I love them at Kentucky.
But it's
And
Sacramento.
Malik Monk.
Sacramento is a dopey organization. How many dumb trades is that team?
Too many.
That
Okay,
Malik
well,
Monk
maybe-
went in that
maybe
draft
they'll
too,
do
right?
it
Fred?
Yeah,
again.
Malik Monk went.
That's who
11th.
everyone. That's who everyone wanted
Yeah, and
to
Charlotte
play 2
has him.
guard, and I didn't get it at all.
Has he
with
done
Malik Monk.
anything?
He hasn't done anything.
I mean,
De'Aaron Fox is off to a torrid start this
Yeah.
season. I don't know what Josh Jackson's doing. That was the Rob Brinkman scouting department let me down
Jackson.
there. I thought he was going to be a good player. He still might be a good player.
still might be a good player. He's still.
But-
I mean, it's the Suns. They're rebuilding. They got a new head coach in Igor Kokoshkov. So I think.
And I
give
like
him some
Dennis
time to
Smith.
de-
I
yeah.
like Dennis Smith better than Fultz too. Dennis Smith kind of stinks too, but I mean, I at least see him on the court doing. I at least see him on highlight reels every once in a while. Fultz gives me nothing. He gives me no clue as to what everyone saw in him to make him a player you would A, take number 1 overall, and B, trade up to take at number 1 overall. He's done nothing to, I got to see stuff from the guy.
Yeah.
I need to see a win on Wednesday. I need to see unless Simmons is injured and not playing. That's their only pass. If Simmons is healthy, and I'll rephrase, I don't need to see a win. I need to see a competitive effort.
Oh, yeah.
I need to see them
They need
look
to
like
be within
they
the game.
belong with a good team.
So did the Giants go for it on 4th and goal on the 1?
They are on the 1. They are driving. We only had 6 minutes left. The second hour's flown by. We got the World Series starting tomorrow.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I love
That's
the
gonna
Boston
be-
Reds.
That's
I-
going to
I-
be easy pickings.
I like the Red Sox in 5. I think Kershaw gets the win tomorrow against Sale, and that'll be the only game the Dodgers
Yeah,
win.
I see this as a 5-game series for the
No,
Sox.
I think it's going to be 6 because I think Kershaw will win his 2 games. He'll win game 1 and he'll win game 5.
Maybe, but I mean
Yeah.
Kershaw, he's been known to spit the bit in the playoffs before.
He
And-
has,
and-
but he's pitched very well this year in the postseason.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Can Kershaw finally overcome that hump
But
and win a World Series?
it sounds like Cora is going to put Betts at second base in the National League Park, so they're not going to lose any offense.
right.
Which is, if you remember, Mookie Betts came up as a second baseman.
Yep.
So it's not that far fetched to think that he can do it, and he's a super athlete. He can easily play second base. So with the Red Sox not losing any offense going into the National League Park, being able to play Mookie Betts potentially at second base,
Man,
I like
Mookie
the
Betts
Red
is gonna
Sox.
play second base.
That's the rumor. Yeah. He came up as a second baseman.
No, I know. He's been such a good outfielder. I'm just surprised they would.
Well, you can't put J.D. Martinez at second base.
J.D. Martinez.
He can barely play the outfield.
He can't really put him anywhere.
And you
in the
can't
outfield.
not have J.D. Martinez or Jackie Bradley in your lineup right now.
That's true. The first 2
Ben
games.
Attendee is a fine left fielder. He's
And
going to
Benintendi's
mess
a
with that.
Great hitter. Yeah, that is an interesting.
Unless you want to get weird and put J.D. Martinez at first base or some weird stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, I think. Oh, you can't put him at first base. That would be a terrible mistake. I think you have to put J.D.
No,
Martinez in right field and maybe
And
put
Betts
Mookie Betts at first.
We're going to put Betts. It sounds like they're going to put
Second
Betts at
base.
second.
Boy,
He's a middle infielder in the minors. He can do it.
Okay, it's just he hasn't made. You still have to make that throw all the time.
But you
and-
can't. the throw from second base. He's not Chuck Knobloch. He'll figure it out.
No, I understand that, but it's still, the footwork and everything to make that short throw and everything. It's not easy to do that.
So, yes, it does look like the Giants went for it on 4th and goal, and they were not successful.
Oh, boy.
Does that surprise you? At least Sherman
Not
showed
at
some
all.
guts.
At least they tried.
What did
So
they,
we're-
did they throw the ball? Did they throw the ball, or did they?
Are we in agreement? We're
they
in
ran the
agreement
ball.
on the Red Sox. I hate the Red Sox, too, so it kind of stinks. But
I'm not the biggest fan of the Red Sox, but
they're going to
they
win.
clearly throughout the entire season they were the best team in baseball. I think they're going to roll. Well, maybe
They're better.
they're
better than the
they're
Dodgers.
better than the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers win now situation. I just don't think they can overcome it. And I think we might see a very different Dodger squad going into next season.
If you compare them position by position, I think Boston's probably a lot better. I mean, I know the Dodgers have Machado and Brian Dozier now, but Brian Dozier, what has he really done?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And if you're saying Mookie's going to play second, I mean, I guess JD's going to play right?
Yeah.
Boy, if I was the Dodgers, I'd be hitting the ball to right field as often as possible because he's kind of a butcher out there. But you can't not have his bat out there.
Yeah.
So
you got to figure out a way to get your best 8 out there.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
and it works out because Ian Kinsler, he's not anything special anymore at second base. But Troy is hurt.
I mean, honestly,
Brock Holt is.
I'd be honest with you. I would not put Mookie Betts out there like that. I would take Jackie Bradley out. I mean,
he's been their hottest hitter.
Yeah, but
and he's one of the best fielders in the league.
Right, but you really think he's gonna hit Kershaw? Well, wait. The first 2 games are in Fenway Park, so it's a moot point.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about it till game
3.
Game 3.
Okay, so game 3, we'll worry about it. Game 3.
But if Jackie Bradley is still tearing the cover off the ball like he's been doing,
then
you
you
can't
have to
sit
keep
him.
Yeah, you have to keep him.
And he's not a liability on defense. He can't. JD Martinez almost won the Triple Crown. You can't take him out.
I would put JD Martinez at first base and pray that
I just said that, and you said it was. I just
I
said
guess.
that. You said it.
Yeah,
said it was a terrible idea.
Yeah, it is. But I'm thinking about him in right field in Fenway Park, and that's even a worse idea.
He doesn't have to play it at Fenway. Yeah, he does have to play right field. Yes.
No. He'd have to play right field in Dodger Stadium. Because Dodger Stadium is where there's
right.
no
he would
DH.
He would DH at Fenway.
Right. He have to play right field in Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium is favorable in right. Right field's not that far in Dodger Stadium, right? It's closer in right than it is in left.
I don't know. I don't have the dimensions. To Dodger
Yeah,
Stadium
I don't know.
on
I don't
hand
know.
right now.
I don't know either. I'm just if you look at the 2 teams, okay, and what they have. The Dodgers can definitely hit. We know that. They've got a lot of different kinds of hitters that can attack you in a lot of different ways. But the Red Sox offense just seems so relentless, and they also run. They steal a lot of bases. And you know what? If they're gonna get middle inning pitching, relief pitching like they did against the Astros, I don't see how they're gonna beat them.
Right.
Listen, their middle inning pitching got whacked around against the Yankees, and so did their back end pitching. But their starting pitching was able to shut the Yankees down. Okay, but these other teams don't seem to hit their middle inning and late inning pitchers. So, David Price, if he doesn't see the Yankees out there, he seems to pitch okay. So I guess it's okay, right?
Yep.
The only team David Price struggles against is the Yankees. He doesn't have to play the Yankees anymore. He's been pretty lights out all season against everyone besides the Yankees.
Yeah, for whatever reason, when he sees
the Yankees are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can't. But his whole career it's been like that. Even when the Yankees weren't good, for whatever reason, from like 2013, 14, 15, he struggled when he was with Tampa Bay. He struggled when he was with Detroit. He struggled when he was with Toronto too. So it's very strange.
I keep forgetting that he played for Detroit. David Price.
For a hot minute.
Yeah, for a hot minute, and then that bit with Toronto, and it's like,
when he pitched with Detroit, there was one game I can
David
remember.
Price was on Toronto.
Yeah.
Yes,
in that World Series push when they had Josh Donaldson and
when they had Tulowitzki and
Tulos
Donaldson
and Bautista was hot
Yep.
still.
David Price?
David Price. Yeah, it was
Price.
the second half
I don't
of the
remember this at all.
2015 season.
What, did he get traded there?
Yeah,
Yes.
because I think Toronto was like in win now mode or something.
Yeah, they traded. They traded. They sent some guys to Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah, it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is right here. In 2015, he played for Detroit.
Listen, I may not be an expert on the National League, but when it comes to the American League, I think I got it down pretty well.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
happened
at all.
so quick. It was like, all right.
I do remember one game.
It's not
when
even
he-
long ago. Like,
yeah.
pitched-
You don't think about it because it's like the most I remember from David Price was he was either in a Red Sox uniform
So
or in
what
Tampa.
did he do?
Right.
He played half a season for Toronto.
Yeah.
He went 9-1 for the Jays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And guess who he lost against?
The Yankees.
Of course. And when he was with Detroit, there was one game when he pitched
was
when he was
dealing.
with Detroit where it was cold, and
He had
that was his big excuse. But I think he walked in like 3 runs, and the
He
Yankees
had
scored, like,
87
7 runs against
strikeouts in
him.
74
yeah.
innings.
Oh, he's been lights out.
So what? The Blue Jays traded for him, then he went into free agency and signed with the
Yeah,
Red
he went
Sox?
to free agency. Yeah.
yes,
Interesting.
yes. I don't recall who they traded
Let's see.
to Detroit. I don't
Let's
recall.
find out. Here we go. The David Price trade was for Daniel Norris, Matt Boyd, and Jairo Laporte.
So the only real guy they got for him was Matt Boyd.
Pretty
Matt Boyd-
much.
Matt Boyd is not bad.
Yeah.
He's
Daniel
not
Norris
bad.
was supposed to be good.
Yeah, he never seemed to pan
Finished
out.
second to Keuchel in the Cy Young ballot. And then he signed the 7-year deal with Boston
Right.
after that season.
And he makes over $30 million a year, and he hasn't really been all that in a bag
Pretty
of
much.
chips for Boston.
Yeah.
Well,
This year he's pretty good though.
all he did was sign the contract. The
So
Red
far.
Sox wrote the checks out.
Oh yeah.
All right. It's after 10 o'clock. Gave us some bonus coverage tonight. That'll do it for the Sports Hounds. We'll be back again next Monday, hopefully talking about an Eagles victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's Brad. I'm Rob. Frank produced. Have a good night, everybody.